have you even got me on PSN? What time is the race starting? And it's just radio silence at the moment. So to be honest with you, I might be staying for the whole race. I'm so confused.
Well, yeah, no worries. We can just play it by ear.
Yeah, that's
okay, is this all streaming? I'm gonna go and check the sound real quick if you want to talk.
Hello.
What the hell?
Oh. Can they not hear me?
No, we can hear you, my... Okay. We're good.
Ah. That's a bit nerve-wracking. I'm gonna quickly click on that. VFL... That's a bit nerve-wracking. Oh, there we go. It's all good, please. Yeah, it's all good. But also, at the same time, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to end up doing qualifying. I'm going to end up commentating the first, maybe 3 or 4 laps of the race. And it's going to be side-by-side action between Dark Inferno, Robert DS and Steph for P1. And I'm going to think, you know what would I rather, this or to just be punted off turn 1? I think I'm going to stay here. And that's what I'll think, probably. But yeah, so there's probably some confusion right now. People that are watching and they can rewind back and listen to this, they're probably thinking, why is Carl talking? I thought that he was racing in some league. Well, it turns out that this league that I'm part of starts at 8:30, whereas we start at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to be commentating qualifying and the first couple of laps of the race until they send me an invite. And to be honest, at the moment, the league is all over the shop, so I've got no idea if they're even going to send me an invite. So I could be here the whole race.
Are you racing at Japan though?
I am. How
That's a good one. You just damn mentioned it.
I don't even know what I'm talking about sometimes, seriously. I am racing at Japan, and I tell you, it's one of the toughest tracks in my opinion.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's all the time.
Okay, how many people do we have in our lobby here? Do we really have a full one?
Full 20, yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
And you're using the same mic setup as usual?
As normal, yeah. Am I really quiet?
Yeah, I'd say if you could bump the volume a bit.
Oh, okay. Adjust mic level, and now I'm going to hear myself. Oh, hang on.
And you're sure you're using the right mic?
Microphone, headset. Now it's the USB
hyper episode.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright.
I'm in crystal clear, Ultra HD. Right, I need to listen to myself through the little adjust mic level. Hello? Oh. That's what you want to be waking up to on a Thursday morning.
Alright, countdown begins. 15 seconds. Thank you everybody for joining. The 5 watching right now. Shout out to buddies Colin and Brennan tuning in. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone else watching. It's gonna be a good one.
It's really... Yeah, first of all, I'm really looking forward to this race. I mean, this is the closest championship I've seen in a long time. Because it was a fight for the championship last season between me and Rob. Whereas this season, it's a fight between like 3-4 people. Connor Kid's now in the mix. You got Steph, who's like only 10 points off, but a good performance today, and he's in the mix. And obviously you have Robert DS trying to basically get a championship. I don't want it to go down to Brazil and then Robert DS gets a 3-second time penalty and Connor Kidd wins.
I'll tell you what, I sure want it to go down to Brazil.
I do want it to go down to Brazil, but I don't want Robert DS to lose 2 championships back to back in Brazil. I feel like he's going to have a bit of a hate relationship with the entire country after losing 2 championships like that. But man, if I had to put money on who's going to win, that's a good conversation starter actually whilst we're waiting for quality to start.
Sure.
If you had to put money on who you've got to win right now,
the championship,
you'd put money on? Yeah,
no doubt in my mind that money is going on the Irish of Robert DS.
Of course, it's
mostly not only because Robert's obviously one of the best drivers, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know, if I had to guess, I would guess Connor Kidd still has one missed race left in him. He seems to sort of have stuff going on these Thursday nights from time to time. He was not supposed to be able to race this one, which definitely would have create a huge gap in the Drivers' Championship. So I'm sort of expecting, unfortunately, that one of these last races Connor isn't going to be able to make, and that may be the deciding factor. But obviously, very, very much hope I'm wrong. Because yeah, if he's assuming everyone's racing every race, I don't know. That would be a very that would be a tricky call. What about you?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I've just panned over to the driving standings right now, and in the lead of the championship with only, and I hate to say it, 3 rounds to go. Portugal, and then Spa, and then Brazil.
What?
We have Robert Diaz in the lead with 140 points, and Connor Kidd making a really good comeback. I think he was down in like P5 before Imola, but winning the race in Imola has bumped him all the way up into P2. He's only 6 points behind Robert Diaz.
I know, and I need to take a moment to give ourselves more shit than we gave ourselves last race. When Connor Kidd came across the line and we were hailing him as like, oh, it's a new race winner. Not only did he win a bunch in season 1, he has won half of the races this season. He's won 4 out of the last 5 races. And we were like, oh my God, Connor finally did it.
yeah, honestly. I cannot hear that back. It's absolutely shocking. And especially kind of, I think I might have to put a, I was thinking about this today, honestly. I kept on going on about that stupid prophecy, remember, back in Austria. I was like, oh, Steph's going to lead the race and then he's going to bin it in the lead. And then one race later, Steph's leading the race and then bins it around Aqua Minerale. I am going to make a promise to you right now, PJ, that I feel like I may have influenced that through some sort of curse or something. So here is my word: I will never make another prophecy about Steph ever again. Maybe about other kind of drivers. And that brings me on to our first segment of the commentary show. We did it last week, and I love saying it because I just love alliteration. PJ's race prediction.
Oh. Wait, you guys say it one more time. The mic sort of popped out as you.
Yeah. It's because I rolled
you're really
my arm.
Popping the P's there.
I am, yeah. It's PJ's pre-race prediction. Ladies and gentlemen, take it away. Oh, Seth. Oh, massive crash.
Oh, no.
Seth has lost it on a flying lap and ended up kind of taking out Darsan. And yes, he's got a 5-place grid penalty for hitting into Darsan. That is shocking for Steph, and I reckon that should be removed. So before we get onto the PP, as I like to call it, so Steph, he was on a flying lap, took too much curb, lost the rear, skittled across the grass a little bit, went into the side of Darsan, but really, he didn't really affect Darsan. He wasn't even on a flying lap. Darsan was on an out lap, and I don't think Darsan's got any damage. Before you know it, Steph, 5-place grid penalty. Absolutely shocking.
That is the thing about 5-place grid penalties in quali, though. Nothing to do about them. We can't take them away or anything. I'm pretty sure several drivers, including I know Robert at Baku, has really been screwed by errant 5-place grid penalties. So unfortunate for Steph, but I don't think there's anything we can do about it.
Yeah, absolutely heartbreaking. But I mean, it's all kicking off right now. I think we're going to have to delay the PPP just for now.
Oh, wait, but I got one on hand. I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
B-Rob podium. That's what I think is coming. I think last week I sort of focused on the teams I run for my prediction, and I'm going to stick with that. I might have predicted a B-Rob podium B-Rob wasn't here.
He wasn't, unfortunately. So you're thinking that after a week of kind of maybe relaxing his muscles a little bit, he's had 2 weeks to practice Portugal. Do you think he's going to come out strong?
Well, I can almost assure you that he has not spent those 2 weeks practicing Portugal as much as practicing putting pints down at the local pub, you know what I mean?
Oh, what a legend. That's what I like to hear.
So yeah, I think he's got the right amount of juice in him, right amount of confidence. I think he's due for a good showing. So rooting for him. I also have realized that I am the team principal of Red Bull as well, and I have not given them enough love. So let's go Tom Taylor and old Pitty, who's been sort of tearing it up recently. Pitt has been qualifying really well.
Yeah, you always talk about the best of the rest, really, but I kind of count the top 5 drivers as being the best anyway. Like, sometimes you're like, Connor Kidd's kind of the best of the rest, but for me, he is part of that best. I would put the best of the rest as being Entui Pachulo. He's always there, battling with drivers, and especially with qualifying. He's always, putting in good performances. I just seem to remember Entui Pachulo doing well in almost all the qualifying sessions. But for my quick prediction, I'm going to go bold here. It's going to be a strong one, but
Segment's
it will
not
probably be a
named
wrong one.
after you, sick boy, but okay, I guess you can.
Yeah, it's not named after me, but I mean, you can always do a super lap if you want, PJ's super lap. If you really want to.
Yeah,
I reckon.
to set a low bar for everybody. Like,
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
can't beat
for
my,
the tier 2 maybe.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I think, and this is it's going to be a risky one. I think Oda podium.
Oh, I like it.
Oda podium, because I don't think you watched it, but Oda ended up beating me and Dark, and I was trying 100% through the first World Cup race in Paul Ricard.
Yeah.
The qualifiers for the World Cup. He ended up beating me fair and square and Dark Inferno, and ended up winning that race. And I don't think Oda raced in Imola because he took a week break.
Yep.
And I know how much he's been messaging me all the time about super strategies in Portugal and putting so much effort into Portugal. I honestly think after the confidence boost he had in the World Cup, and I don't think he's raced since, I think Oda podium. Like, I'm confident.
That's
Oda
okay.
podium.
All right, that's a good prediction. And through the race, we're gonna be a little, because I got my money on B-Rob, you got your money on Oda, so we'll see how it shakes out. Whether or not either of them gets a podium, we'll at least be able to see who finishes before the other, to see who of us had the better intel.
What's really interesting, real quick, is tier 2 driver LEM1KSS. I think I just called him LEM or Lem.
Yeah, it's a Lemkiss. That's what I would go by.
Lemkiss, yeah. So, first ever race in VFL was the Tier 2 race in Austria, and he did pretty well on his debut. I remember constantly shouting it out. He's banged it on the front row, ladies and gentlemen, beside Dark Inferno, and he's only about 4/10 of a second off Dark Inferno, 4/100 of a second off.
I thought you were going to bring in how far he's off the super lap.
I hate to admit it.
Oh, has Dark already beaten your super lap?
There is no super lap, PJ.
What? Huh?
I wasn't supposed to be commentating today.
Couldn't be
Oh
ours.
dear. I couldn't be. I was practicing so much, I'm not even joking. A thought came through my mind. I thought to myself, what should I be doing right now with an hour to go before my race? Should I be practicing Suzuka or should I do the Sick Boy Super Lap? And I ended up practicing Suzuka.
Oh shit. Well, I'm just sorry. I was just reacting to Connor. He was on a hot lap and he just invalidated. Definitely an important driver to watch. In qualifying, he has done 2 laps on mediums. I'm guessing he's going to be pulling into the pits right now, as he is. We'll see if he puts on softs or mediums. But yeah, to start to get into some of these storylines and some of these narratives that are developing across this season, I was telling Robert in the admin chat that this is a pretty big statement race from him, since he is on top of the Drivers' Championship. He does have the best route to victory, and yet all the buzz seems to be around this Connor kid, this Alfa Romeo driver who's just been winning races. And so obviously Connor was originally not going to be racing here, but now that he is, I think it is a massive opportunity for Robert to sort of, as I told him, put some respect on his name and remind everyone why he is P1 in the Drivers' Championship. I'm looking forward to it. I hope he does. Aside from that, let's take a look at constructors and see who's battling who. Alpine has still got the lead. Wow. By 13 points. Yep.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was just going to say real quick, Robert DS, 2.5 tenths of a second up on his fastest lap, and that squarely puts him ahead of his Alpine teammate Dark Inferno for pole position. So if he can string the lap together, the reason why he's a quarter of a second up.
Okay.
Yeah, a quarter of a second, 2.5 tenths of a second. He's now half a second up.
Nice, yeah,
yeah, so he's now half a second up on his last lap time, and the reason why is because his 5th place lap time, if you pan over to, I think, best on the little MFD, it was on mediums. And if I was Robert DS, I'd be very happy with that, and I think I would have stayed on the medium compound and started P5. But even so, he's just put in such a good lap. I think this will be a 116.7. 116.696.
What
incredible
a lap!
Half a second faster
Damn.
than his previous lap time. I tell
and
you what, if I did
half
do
a second faster than P2.
Yeah, exactly. About 3.5, almost 4/10 of a second. In fact,
Right.
Yeah, about 4/10 of a second faster. What I was going to say is, if I did do this Sick Boy Super Lap, that would have beaten it. I'm sure. I think that's faster than my time trial time.
Oh, and Dark just improved his to go to a 1:16.7. He's only 500s down from Robert now. Pitt is on a flying lap, and he is 3/10 up. That will get him into the front row. We'll see if he can continue to stick it through Sector 3. And the go Pitt! I keep forgetting. This is my guy. This is my team. Just like Ferrari, I'm cheering for him.
How about Oda right now? I'm following him. He's going around the penultimate corner, and I have no idea whether he's up on his previous lap time, but I told you,
watch
my money's
Pitt.
on him.
Watch Pitt. Oh, dang. Goes P4. I think Mirko just put in a super fast lap as well. I don't think I saw him up there before, but Pitt goes P4. Oda does improve, but only goes to P12.
Oh dear, Connor Kidd is just invalidated by running wide on the exit turn 1. And yeah, that actually kind of brings me on to one of the points with Portimao, one of the toughest tracks in the game, because there are so many corners that it's so easy to run wide and invalidate. So, oh hang on, bit of contact between Connor Kidd and Oda. I'm not too sure what Oda was doing, and Oda's got a 5-place grid penalty for contact with Connor Kidd. To be fair, I actually have no idea.
The curse!
Whenever Sick Boy says that somebody's going to pole it, you do realise that it's kind of tradition that they get a 5-second or a 5-place grid penalty. If you didn't catch what actually happened, I'm not too sure what happened, in all honesty. Connor Kidd was kind of driving, Oda cut a corner, then like stopped on track right in front of Connor Kidd, and then Connor Kidd hit into the back of him. So at least Connor Kidd doesn't have a kind of a thing. You can't even check which drivers have a grid penalty on your little MFD, so we're just going to have to wait and see whether Connor Kidd got a time penalty. But anyway, quickly pan over to Connor Kidd. He's just about to start a flying lap, and it will give me a good opportunity to kind of talk through each of the corners that it's really easy to invalidate. In fact, I think he's diving into the
Steph
pits.
gets up to P5. That's a big lap for him.
Ah, yeah. I think I'm just trying to find a driver who's about to end their lap. How about nice job, mate, right now? I'm confident that he is going to be
Cole
on
goes
a flying
pole.
lap.
He goes 300th quicker than Robert with the Devil's number, going 666s there. What a lap. What a lap from Cole.
Everyone seems to be diving into the pits right now. How about Gooders, the Ferrari driver? He's also diving into the pits. Man, everybody.
Darsan just started a lap.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I weren't able to catch it. So let's just follow. I guess I'm going to have to follow Tom Taylor and just wait. I'll quickly spectate Darsan a little bit, and then we'll pan over to Tom Taylor. But what I'm going to try and say is the corner that Darsan was literally on just there, I think that's about turn 4. So easy to invalidate your lap time and run wide on many corners. So turn 1 is of note. We've seen multiple drivers already invalidate their lap time today around turn 1. Turn 4, that uphill left-hander, really easy to lose the rear on that as well. And you're going to see that it's a very high downforce track, Portimao, but it's also a very high rear downforce track. And the other corner is kind of, I don't know really, just kind of turn 1 and turn 4. But just quickly spectating Tom Taylor. He's just crossed the line right now, and he's on a flying lap, of course. Turn 1, you can be incredibly late on the brakes, and it's so difficult to hit the apex. And he's invalidated, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, on turn 1, like I guess. But yeah, you got that yellow sausage curb on the inside, and it's so easy that you can kind of invalidate your lap. Turn 4, like I said, really easy to lose the rear. Oh yeah, go ahead, PJ.
No, yeah. Sorry, keep going. I didn't know you were going through the turns.
Oh no, that's fine. So you get that really heavy braking zone at turn 5 that Tom Taylor's just skipped. And then you've got the double apex, turn 8 and 9, I believe. Turn 9, Samsung, it's called. And that's that really difficult uphill right-hander. It's one of the sharpest turns on the track, and it can easily lose the rear of the car because it's really uphill and you kind of get a lot of rear instability. It's such a difficult turn. And then the rest of the lap's kind of quite chill, in all honesty. Very easy to lock up around this final corner right here, or the final main braking zone of the lap. And that's kind of it when it comes to Portimao.
Highest drama right now is the fact that Connor Kid is sitting at P16 in the pits in Discord saying that he's got a wheel issue. So with the Drivers' Championship hanging in the balance, may have some mechanical errors coming into play.
That's not good.
I know.
I remember last time that we had a mechanical error in Canada in which my adaptive PS5 triggers failed to work. Let's remind the audience what happened in Canada last season when my controller failed.
Remind me, I don't know.
I ended up binning it, if you remember, on about lap 3, and it was heartbreaking. And Robert Diaz took the lead of the championship, and I had a few sleepless nights.
A few?
Quite a few, yeah. I think it was like the entire week until Portugal.
These guys keep pushing each other. Dark going with the 116.559. He now sits on pole. I mean, Dark, it's hard to argue anyone else is a better qualifier than this man. Has the pace to get pole nearly every race, and it feels like he does most times. Great lap from him. We have a minute 30 left to see if anybody can beat it. You can see quite a lot of cars making their way through sector 3 right now to get in what will most likely be their last lap times. And I'm going to ride on board with old buddy Bobby and see if he can get the Ferrari up to the front row.
So Steph's still in the pits, so that's his qualifying over. Best performance P8, otherwise it may even be lower.
He'll be P13, yeah.
That's unfortunate. Oh yeah, he will be. And we still got drivers who haven't finished their lap. Steph could be starting towards the lower quarter of the grid, as in 15 and below. Just quickly spectating, I think the man to spectate right now, he's going around the final turn. Is that Robert DS? It sure is. He's got... in fact, no it isn't, it's Dark Inferno. Dark Inferno's dived into the pits. Man, sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about. In fact, Robert DS is someone to spectate. He's just set a purple middle sector. Ooh. And he's going around the penultimate corner right now. We talked about how great his lap time was. His 116.696. It's only good enough for 4th place right now, ladies and gentlemen. Is he able to beat his previous lap time? And it seems like he just might. Can he pole it? And it will be an Alpine 1-2, and it is!
He goes
116.476. That's about 0.2 of a second faster than his previous lap time, and it looks now like it's going to be an Alpine 1-2.
Man, classic.
Front
the
row
Alpine
lockout.
Boys living up to their potential. Love to see it. Again, I'm paying attention to B-Rob. He's coming around in the final sector now, up 0.2 on his previous time. So not a stellar lap, but should help him get a little more competitive start as he comes across the line now. Only goes P9. So B-Rob had a better qualifying session in past races, but top 10 nonetheless, and trying to see if we're going to catch anybody else on a fine lap.
Yeah,
Oda.
Connor Kid. Connor Kid's in the middle sector right now. He's all the way down in P17.
Yeah, and he's only
1/10 up.
That will not
and he's on softs, and his previous lap time was on medium, so it seems like everything's gone wrong for Connor Kid right now. He's got Sky possibly giving him dirt. Yeah, luckily Sky does move out the way. He's 4/10 up now, heading into the 3rd sector, and right now it's pretty much the final corner of the track, and he doesn't lock up. He actually does it quite nicely. If he is 4/10 up, then he'll end up setting a 117.2, and that will get him in P13, just ahead of Poppy. He'll be sharing.
Jeez, but still leaving a lot to be desired from the hottest driver on track. He will finish in P9, bumping B-Rob into P10. And I believe Lemkes, he gets up to P6. He moves in front of Noise Job Mate in the Mercedes. And I believe that will do it for the grid today. So, Mirko got P2. I didn't see him. He has split the Alpine boys up. Mirko, apologies for missing like all your hot laps this session. But well done to him. He is in P2, splitting the Alpine boys. Then we have Pitt in the Red Bull in P4. Cole in the Aston Martin P5. Lemkes in the AlphaTauri P6. Nice job. P7 and Luke J. Gilly P8, and so it goes. Interesting quality session here. What results are you most surprised by?
I mean, first of all, I'm just really stunned about Mirko final minutes splitting the two Alpines. I did think it was going to be an Alpine front row lockout, but Mirko coming out there just out of nowhere and ended up splitting the two drivers. And what's really crucial with this is Dark Inferno is incredibly tough to overtake down into turn 1. He's going to be starting on the second row of the grid alongside Entui Pachulo. I wouldn't want to be Dark right now, especially if I was
look
battling
at
for
that
the title.
separation between the top 3. That is close. Those are some quick
0.08
laps.
second.
Yeah, and I would gotta give some props to Robert for not only setting pole but out qualifying his teammate. Again, like I've said, Dark is usually the best qualifier, and Robert is sort of the best race pace and overall strategy racer, but not in Portimao. He is taking pole position. He has the lead in the Drivers' Championships. Where will it go from here?
Yeah, but something of note is that I don't think many people in the Discord give Mirko enough credit.
Oh, wait, sorry, I gotta ask. B-Rob wants to know if he should start on mediums.
Yes. Oh, wait, what? Should he start on mediums? He qualified P10. Oh, actually, it's because... Wait, what?
I don't know. He just DM'd me, so I'm just passing it along real quick.
Oh, damn. Apparently the invites are coming out in a second for my little race in Japan, so I'm going to have to watch the first couple of laps, and then I'm going to have to hop out. But, yeah, so really quick.
Yeah.
Mirko. He's all the way down, just quickly checking the driver's standings. Yeah, if you kind of compare Mirko and Conakid, it kind of seems like Conakid is really kind of beating his Alfa Romeo teammate. But I don't think enough people give Mirko credit. He's an incredible qualifier. And P2 today is absolutely insane. So yeah, Mirko down to P6. He's only 17 points off Dark Inferno though, so...
Yeah, Mirko has long, since Season 1, Mirko has long been one of my favorite overtakers. He has some creative moves and the guts to pull him off. So happy to see him back up at the front row. This is going to be a good race. I'm hoping you do well in Suzuka. Like you said, one of the toughest tracks. I do not envy you. But good to get some practice to be prepared to come back in Season 3 and show these fools who the real champ is.
I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait. And hopefully we get a little bit of a cash prize next season. I'm definitely going to be talking
in this league?
Hopefully in this league. So there's been a lot of championships that I've been part of recently that all have cash prizes as rewards. So me, Steph, and Dark Inferno are going to be joining like a team event. And what's hilarious about that is that if we come third place, we only get £15. Well, no, when you actually hear what the cash prize is, it's £5 each. And that's like 2 months, 3 months of practicing every day, and all you get is £5.
How many ounces is that? Pretty funny.
I think this is a perfect time. Oda kept on saying that we did that minute of silence.
No, I don't. No, I'm not doing a minute of silence for Oda. I don't get why we would. I don't get why he's asking for that. I'm sorry, Oda, but why are we gonna take a minute of silence just for? You're in the race. I'm not taking.
Can we do 5 seconds? Can we do 5 seconds of silence
for Oda?
Yeah, for Oda.
If you give me a half decent reason why we should, then I'll think about it.
Because the poor man was given a 5-place grid penalty that he didn't deserve.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Go. Alright, congrats. I hope you enjoyed that.
I did, yeah.
I want it on the record that I didn't think he was deserving. What, are we going to give... Should we give 4 seconds of silence for Tom Taylor? What's going on here?
No, but real quick, Oda, look, he's doing a Lewis Hamilton. He's going so slow on the formation lap. Surely the tyres of the front runners of Robert DS and Mirko are going to be ice cold, so this will make turn 1 interesting. As always, PJ, you count down the lights, you take the front of the grid, and I'll follow along on Oda and hopefully pick up some crashes at the back.
Sounds good. The grid is set. The grid is messing itself up and correcting itself. We have our 5 lights lit and we have our 5 lights out. Here we go. Mirko gets a great start. He's going to go directly into P1, and that's Pitt, who spun all the way down the field. And what happened in the back?
Oda just went straight into Pitt. Pitt was 180-degree turned around, virtual safety car straight away, and Oda literally had nowhere to go.
Oh, and B-Rob gets a pen.
Yeah, he's taken damage, surely. I'm surprised he hasn't DNF, but yeah, that was something straight from a horror movie. Tulip has been turned around. He's all the way down in P19, and we have a lap 1 full course safety car.
Oh my god.
Due to that major incident. Tulip as well, he was turned around. He's now down into P19, and I think a couple drivers, yeah, so B-Rob and MF Underboss, both get 5-second time penalties. And I tell you what, if they're being tactical right now, especially with MF Underboss, I think that the drivers are going to try and serve their 5-second time penalty under safety car and pit
yeah,
on
it's
lap 1.
frustrating because not sure if those were deserved 5-second penalties, but regardless, I'm pretty sure the game is going to make you serve them at your next pit stop. However, you cannot serve them under safety car, correct?
No, you can. So you can.
Can you not
serve a
Can you not serve
drive-through?
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
you can't serve a drive-through under safety car, but you can serve a 5-second time penalty under safety car. And 5-second time penalties under safety car are basically like 2-second time penalties.
Sure.
But even so, what a start. I'm glad I could witness it, but I've just received the dreaded invitation, PJ. I'm going to have to leave you.
Alright, man. Well, good luck. Oh, that was pretty cool. I saw Mirko, who was feigning like he was going to enter the pits for a quick stop. Almost got Robert to bite, but they all stay out. Mirko is taking the lead. Sick Boy, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck in Japan, and hope to see you on the track next week in Spa, right?
Yeah, exactly. Gonna try and go for last to first, and hopefully it will do better than it was in Jeddah, which was a bit of an embarrassment. Oh dear. Anyway, bid you farewell. Good luck with the commentary, and hopefully I end up winning this race.
Thank you very much, man. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for joining, and good luck to you also. It never feels lonely when I'm just doing a solo cast from start to finish, but when I start with somebody and then they leave, after them leaving, it feels a little weird. Mirko has jumped up to P1, overtaking Robert. Besides that, we just had Underboss, Tolup, all in pit is out of the race. I did not see that. So we had pretty much everyone behind those few at the bottom move up a spot or two. And hopefully we'll probably be one more lap around Portugal here behind the Aston Martin safety car. Is that... yeah, I think that's the Aston Martin. Pretty sure. Minute of silence. Pip, I see you in the comments. What happened, man? I was not watching that part of the grid. Just a bad start. Sort of lose the wheels on the start is what I'm guessing that can happen. Yeah. That's what can get you. Hearing from Pitt in the comments that just a bit too anxious on the throttle. Probably spun those tires right as the lights went out, sending his car sideways and into a few of those behind him. Underboss did serve that penalty in the pits. B-Rob has chosen not to. Safety car should be in this lap. We are all caught up. And a 30-lap race awaits us. Yes, boy. I can read the comments. I'm sorry, Pitt. I was cheering for you, buddy. Sorry for the unfortunate start, but get back at him next week. You are due for a win soon enough, man. Shouts out to you. And we are off. I'm going to hop up to the front to see if anybody gets a better start. And it does look like Robert and Mirko have created a bit of a pack for themselves as Lemkes goes side by side with Nice Job touching wheels. Are there any other incidents going down the road? No, we'll go back up to the top as Lemkes going on the inside nearly loses it. Cole on the outside. He did get ahead of Nice Job, who's now in P6. Oh, and who's that? Is that Connor sending up the inside? Apparently racing out of controller now for the first time this season and trying to get a bit ambitious with it. Thankfully, no incidents on the restart of this one. Is Sky, you can see, sends it up the inside, and he manages to claim P8 from Luke J. Gilly. Going into the first full speed go around this corner, and now Luke J. Gilly taking that spot back. Sky is on the medium, so those soft runners have got a lot more traction around turns like that, and they're making use of it. And let's see, so you can see the 5 drivers down there that did complete a stop under that first initial safety car, but everybody else still on the tires that they started with. There is a 1 second gap between Nice Job and Connor Kidd now. Beyond that, all set for an exciting activation of DRS once that comes in. We do have MF Underboss and Steph going at each other down the grid. Steph in P16, one of the lowest starts to a race he's got that I can remember. Meanwhile, Connor sending it on. Nice Job going around the outside of him into T1. He handles that nicely, and he is up into P6 already. So after a lackluster qualifying session from Connor, he is already on the charge to continue his streak of wins and good positions. Underboss collects our first track limits penalty of the day. And that 1 second gap between Cole and Lemkes still exists as we are about to have DRS set in, but it is going right in between that 1 second mark, which is of course crucial for the Alfa Romeo AlphaTauri in P5. Meanwhile, Robert is sticking with Mirko. He is only 3/10 back. It looks like those top 4 are pretty much right on each other's tails for now. But again, it's about to get a little bit more interesting once this DRS comes into play. Speaking of, is right now. And here we go. Lemkes is outside of that 1 second zone from Cole, so he will not get this first DRS most likely. Besides that, I don't see any moves being made into turn 1. Ooh, both Robert and Dark locking up that front right tire going into this turn. Lemkes losing a bit of traction on the exit, but should be safe from an attack on Connor Kidd, who is about a half second back. And Nice Job is struggling to stay within range of Connor as well. Well, Robert only a 10th back from Mirko now. He's gained some ground. And it is going to be a straight to watch. His first one with DRS coming up at the onset of this 7th lap. And B-Rob and Sky, they're going side by side. B-Rob taking the inside. Sky trying to find him around the outside. He's going to cut back going downhill on this turn. But B-Rob, again, with those soft tires, should have a bit of grip advantage. He's covering that inside, making sure Sky doesn't try anything funny. And he will hold P9. We have Darsan, I believe, that was making a move on Underboss. And now we turn our attention back up towards the top as Robert, the type of driver who will not overtake until he believes it's the right time to. Lemkes, I'm trying to catch him, but he spun around. He's off the track. Unfortunate for him, quite a strong start in, I believe, one of his first races in turn 1 in T1. Robert not able to get past Mirko on the first straight. He's only 2/10 back now, getting his other DRS. Mirko moves to the inside. Robert will take the outside, and who can outbrake the other? Mirko sends it down the inside. He's trying to cover, and he will be able to do so, but still Robert fighting, coming out wheel to wheel, and he's going to have the inside turn going into, never mind, he relents Merkel will stay in P1, but pick up 3 seconds of penalties going wide there from the pressure of Alpine driver in P2. Dark is enjoying this. He's able to most likely conserve his tires, conserve his ERS as these two battle and stay just as close. Taking a look at the ERS, Dark goes into the gravel there. Will that cost him anything? No, he built up enough of a gap between P4 that he'll be able to save P3 for now. And another interesting spot to watch is B-Rob trying to make a move on these medium runners. Sky and JKS Racing did get ahead of B-Rob, so I would expect that he might have gone off. Meanwhile, Robert going on the outside into turn 1. Merkel will fall behind him and collect DRS on this uphill straight. Will he be able to retaliate this quickly? Meanwhile, JKS, he's picking up a spot on Sky and does so. B-Rob not able to catch up to them quite yet. These top three are stuck together like glue. Mirko not able to catch up to Robert yet. Gutters picks up another penalty in the Ferrari as we see Robert locking up once again. Something to watch. That time it was his left front. Must avoid those if he wants to make these tires last safely into the double digits. And first 8 laps underway has provided some good racing. Mirko going off track limits once again there. He's hoping that the two Alpines around him collect similar penalties. B-Rob, I think, might have lost it, or maybe he's just battling with Underboss. He goes wide, tries to hang around the outside here, and won't be able to. Underboss is going to pick up P10 as B-Rob slides back to P11. Difficult start for B-Rob. I think he may just be losing it on some of these corners because these folks are getting past him quite often in these laps. Meanwhile, Mirko moving into P1 goes on the inside and the back and forth continues. Will Dark be able to get involved on any of these laps? Robert once again with a light lockup and run to little contact with his teammate on the backside of the exit there. Robert just a 10th back from Mirko. It's hard to make a move before the breaking point of this turn. Robert will go around the outside and Mirko will cover. Mirko doing some great defensive driving now, but it's going to be the same thing where they're wheel to wheel with Robert taking the inside here. And Robert once again will relent as they head up this uphill turn. I don't know what it's called. I want to call it Aqua Minerale, honestly, because it's like the same exact thing as Imola. But I know it's not. And enjoying this race so far. Only 4 penalties. Hoping it stays low like that. And things are going to get very interesting as the pit windows open up. Who will go for an undercut, overcut? Who is going to make the right calls? Will Robert and Mirko trade back once again? Mirko going to the right side of this straight, trying to break the slipstream. Robert will follow him, move out to the outside just in time for turn 1, which he completes. Goes a little wide, as does Mirko, and Dark actually fell back a little bit. Mirko will now be on the back of Robert coming up this uphill turn 3. Thankfully, everybody keeping it straight on the track so far. I don't think we've had many spin-outs or collisions. I know Lemkis did take a tumble as well as Pitt at the start of the race, but besides that, keeping it on track for a track that can get a little slippery. And a dream start for the Alpine boys. Robert going back and forth with Mirko for P1. Dark, don't think he's had to work his tires too much to stay into P3. And Mirko picking up a 3-second penalty between them. So right now they're liking how this result would hold on track. And we'll see if it does. Underboss, he's only a 10th back from Sky. One of the few Tier 2 drivers filling in for some vacant T1 spots. And Underboss, very, very good start for the race. To the race for him so far, up in P10. Dark is only 2/10ths back on Robert as Mirko has fallen a little back from P1. Okay, it looked like Dark may have a shot at a move, but wasn't there in time. Underboss, nothing going on Sky. And now Robert is able to pull away into P1 a bit. Dark using up all of his ERS to try to make a move, but it is not going to be easy. Mirko has spent the better part of this race defending and battling into that turn. He knows how to do it. Dark in single digits of ERS. Mirko down to 12% as Robert sitting nicely up at 50%. So great battery management from him. And Underboss does get the pass from Sky. He was on that second DRS going into that downhill hairpin. A fantastic move from Underboss, who is now up in P9, well ahead of quite a few Tier 1 drivers. Impressive stuff from the Mercedes villain. Oh no! No! Underboss, I believe it seems just from trying to gather context clues, it looks like Underboss may have lost it and sent B-Rob off with him. Will that send B-Rob into the pits? Does he have any wing damage? I don't think he does. He will stay out there. Mirko in P2 will be the first into the pits, going for the undercut strategy. And we will pay attention closely to see how that turns out. And Underboss is just out of the session. So what was a very strong race from him turns into a DNF. Not sure what happened on his incident, but he is now out of the race, as the front three have got that healthy gap, still within DRS for the most part, but not quite battling, as Alpine looking at a 1-2 right now as they lead the constructors as well. And sadly, Steph, who was just sort of commenting earlier today on the consistency he's shown this season, finding himself with the worst performance yet so far. He's down there in P17 after taking an unfortunate grid penalty in qualifying. Has not been able to recover just yet, but I would not put it past him. Dark is going into the pits. Connor is going into the pits. He receives a speeding penalty that's massive for the Alfa Romeo driver. Luke heads into the pits. And that will be it for our pits on lap 12. Robert now with a 1.5 seconds lead in P1, quite comfortable, and the McLaren of Talop is going to be under attack from Darsan as he is left out here on a little island with a little train behind him. Let's see if Darsan, most likely not close enough on this turn to make any sort of move. Only Robert and Cole left as the soft runners sitting on top of the table. B-Rob, the other one who is yet to pit on those softs. You would expect them to either this lap or at the latest, I would imagine, lap 14, to throw on those mediums, which will hopefully take them to the end of the race. Although we do see Mirko and Connor, both Alfa Romeos, going on to the hards. Dark goes on to the mediums, so that will be very, very interesting to see if the mediums can last or the hards were the right choice. Robert, is he entering the pits? He sure is. Lap 13, Cole follows, and now the medium runners take over on track position. Does B-Rob follow the last of the soft runners? He's not looking forward to this pit stop. He will have to serve 5 seconds, but it will come now. Sticks that right on 50 miles per hour. That's pretty nice. Uh-oh. We have a yellow flag in Sector 3, and that is Oda. He's gone off, and he will have to go straight into those pits. Those tires are done for the day. B-Rob serving that penalty of his will come out. Oh, no. Oh, that's Luke J. Gilly, who's completely lost it. He's off in the gravel. Steph right on the back of Lemkis, and you can see B-Rob coming out in the background there. Meanwhile, Dark making the move on his teammate Alpine. They're trading spots, going into the hairpin, coming out side by side, and Dark will get the go-ahead. Great stuff from him. Wish I didn't miss that one. That's the way it goes. So right now, Dark has taken over the race lead, the undercut, proving... Did they pit the same lap? I can't imagine they did. I can't imagine they would double stack, but it's both showing that they're on their first lap of medium, so I'm not sure. Regardless, Dark takes over the lead of the race. He pulled it here last year and was not able to finish. Hoping for a redemption story this time around. Tola, he's in P2 on track with, again, Darsan is right on his back. The McLaren picks up 3 seconds penalties. Ooh, a nice job gets by Connor. And Cole gets by Mirko. That straight already proving the most viable spot on track to pass, as you would expect. Robert hanging close to Dark. Okay, and you can see Dark did pit 1 lap before. That's what I thought. So again, pretty clean race so far. I'm enjoying it. Gonna try to pull up some standings and past race results here to see when the last time Dark won a race was. I think he got one early in the season, if I do remember correctly. Will he be under attack from his teammate on the straight? He certainly will. Look at the speed advantage. B-Rob itching into the 200 miles per hour as Dark 15 miles per hour slower than him. He's got no shot at defending there, and they will trade spots just as Robert and Mirko did a little earlier. Meanwhile, B-Rob, he's making a move on the McLaren, and he is going to get it. A similar pace advantage that we saw with Dark and Robert. That DRS and slipstream is just massive on that long straight. I'm looking for, here we go. Yes, so Dark won in round 2, and that is it. Mirko picking up another set of penalties, both Alfa Romeo drivers at the front of the grid. But both with 3 seconds on them. That will certainly hurt their finishing positions, assuming the 2 Alpine drivers as well as Cole and Nice Job Mate, who's in front of them, will be able to keep it clean. All of them are on medium, so perhaps Alfa Romeo banking on a bit of tire wear. That very well may be possible. It is a lot of laps to go on these mediums. Darsan taking a peek up the inside. Meanwhile, Luke J. Gilly, he's trying to make a go back at B-Rob. He's not going to be able to. We will hang here to catch this DRS to see if Luke J. Gilly is able to get a better exit and take a shot at B-Rob, who's without DRS. Luke does lose the back end a little bit there. Oh, and Robert went off. No damage to the wing, it looks like, but did see him collide with some of the barriers. Dark will take over the lead of the race once again, and Robert will have to do some work to get back within striking range of him. Robert's still sitting at about a 50% ERS, Dark at 22. And Gooders picks up his second penalty of the race. Stuff has climbed up to P11, but you'd expect that he's got one more stop left in him, since he did pit quite early. Lots of times to keep an eye on here. I don't think Luke is going to be able to get there for B-Rob, but we will see. Here he comes, going on the inside, and can he get in front of him going into the turn? Yes, he can. No contest there. Great move from Luke J. Gilly, and B-Rob, not losing that much time, is going to look for an opportunity to get back at him as soon as he can. It's not going to be on this straight, though, as Luke does a great job of getting away from him on that exit, as they both get within DRS range of Steph. Oh no, there's contact back here. I believe that was Poppy sent spinning into the front wing of Oda. I would expect some damage on the side of the Haas, as well as a penalty being attributed to Poppy there for track limits from the spin. Poppy, absolute beast nearly every race in Tier 2, but when he goes into Tier 1, seems like his form does fall off just a little bit. He will most likely be getting a T1 seat for Season 3, so he will have plenty of opportunities to change that narrative. Meanwhile, Luke right on the back of Steph there, who I saw was desyncing, got a little disconnected for a moment. It looks like he's back in, and it looks like he will be under attack going into turn 1 from the McLaren. Can B-Rob get in there? No, he's 4/10 back, and Steph will let the McLaren go, but he does look up the inside. I thought he was going to have a go at it there, and he still might. No, I think he wants this DRS. These three are getting very tightly packed as Steph and B-Rob go side by side in classic B-Rob, taking his foot off the gas a little bit to avoid any collisions. Steph, seems to think he can get this spot back on Luke J. Gilly at any turn. The battle at the top continues between Dark and Robert. Robert has regained the time lost from that earlier spin. He's only 3/10 back from Dark now, and this may be the lap that they go back to trading. We are going to get to see. He is 4/10 back now. Sky, he heads into the pits. He is the first medium runner to head in, and Robert not going for the overtake. He's not even bothering to go into 8th gear, which tells me that this is not the point of the race where he thinks an overtake would be most advantageous. May have gotten a little bit sick of battling and trading with Mirko earlier. Decides, hey, I'm going to save up my ERS and try to get you later. Connor Kidd going very, very wide. Will be able to regain control. Not sure if he received a warning for that or not. And B-Rob is only 2/10 back from Steph. "20 laps in already." Not an incredible amount of overtakes. It is coming down to more who can just have the more consistent drive, the most clean drive, and right now that is Dark Inferno. Poppy gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that penalty given out before in VFL. And there's a lot of space now created between Cole, nice job mate, Connor. Those all used to be bunched together quite quickly, quite closely. But with the Alfa Romeo drivers going on to hards, there may be some separation there. And I think Mirko just got around his teammate on the straight. These two are going at it. So 2 teammate battles happening up towards the front half of the grid. Alfa Romeo and Alpine. Connor Kidd gets another 3-second penalty. Again, that is the difference between... Oh, B-Rob and Steph, they're battling. They're going side by side once again into this uphill turn 3. And this time, B-Rob manages to get ahead. He won't have DRS, though. Will he be able to hold on to P13? He moves to the inside. A great little bit of defensive driving from B-Rob there. Holds on to his position. And Dark did pick up his first set of penalties as that was happening. So now it is not only the Alfa Romeo drivers at the top who are going to be affected by the post-race penalties. Dark as well, who is currently in the lead of the race, as Darsan and Tom Taylor on those hard tires will be stopping shortly. Ooh, Robert making a move on Dark. Into turn one, can Dark, oh, he seemed like he may have tried to go up the inside. Decides against it and is staying quite close to the back of Robert. How does the exit on this turn go? Quite nicely for all of them, as they have now caught up to those medium and hard runners who are yet to pit. Will be very interesting to watch how much they hold Robert and Dark up. Oh, and B-Rob collects 3-second penalties now. About 10 laps to go. Luce Gilly collecting penalties, so what was once a relatively clean race in terms of track limit penalties is regressing a bit to the norm, where nearly half the grid has collected them and half the grid that hasn't will have a massive advantage as the positions are tallied up. And Tom Taylor and Darsan really holding up Robert and Dark right now, as is their right. They're not blue markers. They are leading the race. That will be Darsan into the pits. Tom Taylor will stay out and look to defend against the two Alpines. He's swerving on the straight. He's trying to go inside, and he will be able to cover. Dark lost quite a lot of time. I'm not sure what caused that in that final sector, but Robert is the one who is battling with Tom Taylor right now, and there might have even been some contact from the looks of it. If not, it was as close as it can be. Will he be able to get him on this turn? Tom Taylor, once again, which way is he going to go? Oh, more contact there, just a light bump. That will allow Dark to catch up and get into the mix, and this will also allow Cole and Nice Job Made to really catch up. This is a dream scenario for them. They were over second or two back from the two Alpine drivers, but now with this little obstacle in the way of the Red Bull, who is still on hard tires, that gap is going to be shrinking. I would expect this to be the last lap that Tom Taylor is able to defend on those hards, but the way he is moving in the straights, I will have to wait and see. Robert is only 2/10 back from him as we go into the final turn. He's got 10% ERS left. Tom Taylor, he's got no ERS left, and this dude once again is just making Robert choose which way to go on the straight. He finally gets around him, and now the job is passed down to Dark, and this will be very big to watch. How much can Robert pull away as Dark struggles to get around the Red Bull just like he did? Robert in the clear front P1 for this race. No penalties to his name. Dark sends it up the inside on Tom Taylor and is able to hold it. A fantastic move from Dark. He does have that massive tire advantage and is making use of it. Gets around the Red Bull in only about one sector's time. That has allowed Cole to get a little bit closer to that second mark, but still not under it. He's 1.2 seconds back, and Steph sets the fastest lap after pitting for a set of soft tires. Those will look to take him to the end of the race. He's in P15 now, with quite a lot of drivers ahead of him to sift through. JKS Racing, he collects a penalty. Meanwhile, Talup is right on the back of Sky and the Haas. They're about equal on the age of their soft tires, so it is down to Racing here. Sky without DRS, he's going to be under attack, and that's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Are we going to get a glimpse of who that might have been as we come around the corner here? No, so I do not know who that was for. Doesn't look to be anything too major. Tolup will go on the inside of the Haas. He manages to pull that off. And positions holding for now. Again, Cole could really use a DRS helping hand from the Red Bull in front of him before we see Tom Taylor enter the pits to give Cole a bit of a fight to the Alpine boys. Again, Cole, without 3-second penalties, would finish above Dark right now if the race ended this way. So Dark does have quite a lot of space he needs to create if he wants to secure the first Alpine 1-2 of the season. Never mind. They were Alpine 1-2 when Dark won, I think. In Russia. Dark has lost DRS, so is Tom Taylor. Connor the Kid has not, though. He is still racing with his teammate. And he's got 8 seconds of penalties. Mirko only with 6. He's going to go on the inside here into this super quick turn 1. Can he keep it within track limits? He does, and manages to close the corner off for Mirko, who falls back into P7. And only 7 laps to go already. Oh no, Oda receives a 10-second penalty, and there are 2 yellow flags. I'm going to sort of scroll through. It looks like it would be Gooders, who I believe is a lap back from most of the grid. And Sky did manage to get his spot in front of the McLaren back. With only 7 laps to go, this is one of the battles that we will be watching. About a half second separates them now, but 6 seconds of penalties will separate them at the end of the race. As it stands, if Robert can keep it clean, this is another race win for him. And Tolop only 3/10 back from Sky, heading into the straight. Cole Mazepik, meanwhile, has caught up to Tom Taylor, who is still yet to pit with only 6 laps to go. He's got to be throwing softs on, maybe just begging for a last-minute safety car that would give him an incredible front row or podium finish, really. Tolop gets the much better exit coming out of turn 3, and he'll be able to fly past Sky, but I've seen that happen before, and the battle is not over. Sky will relent on this turn. No! They clip their back wheel, and a track reset from Tolop. Sky goes ahead in P9, reserving judgment for the FIA. But that will put a bookend to the one battle that I was watching. So we got to turn elsewhere. Cole only 5/10 back from Tom. And how is Tom not pitting? He needs to pit, I believe. Oh no, Tom did not start on these hards. What am I thinking? Tom is going to the end of the race. So Tom is in P3, and more accurately is in P2 with the 3 seconds of penalties applied to Dark at the finish of the race. How are these hard tires going to hold up? Oda gets another 5 seconds of penalties. He's up into 20 seconds now. Difficult race from him. Sorry, Sick Boy, about the prediction, but I am not much one to talk, as B-Rob has had a struggle race as well. We're both off of it. Gooders, he picks up 5 more seconds as he enters the pit lane, and he will serve it then. Staying at the back of the grid again, he's almost 2 minutes back from the rest of the grid. Darsan and Luke J. Gilly, they're going wheel by wheel the same place that Luke J. Gilly's teammate went with Sky in the Haas. This time, it doesn't end in a spin. It ends with Darsan securing P10. Luke J. Gilly hopping right in front of his teammate back in P11. So this has gotten quite a lot more interesting, knowing that Tom Taylor is finishing the race on these hards. Cole, oh no, and oh no, that's Tolop, I'm sorry, I misread, I thought that was Tom. Oh no, we have a yellow flag, and that is Tolop. He got 3 seconds, assuming it happened during the spin. Is Cole able to get up to Tom Taylor? He's 3/10 back at the end of the straight, 8% ERS left, and he's got medium tires to Tom Taylor's hards, which have got to be just on their last set of laps at this point. But Cole not getting the grip he needs out of that exit, won't be able to do anything into this hairpin, and Tom Taylor maintaining the P3 podium finish for now. There is 3.5 seconds between he and Dark, so Dark is safe in his P2 as it stands, and Robert who's driven a flawless drive, been in the middle of battles with his teammate, with Mirko, and has come out the best of them all with no penalties and a 1 second gap from him to the next driver. Four laps left to go. Tom Taylor just loves to swerve on these straights, bro. Look at this man. Just trying to break that slipstream. It will not be enough to stop the Aston Martin from getting into P3 in turn 1. And now the question is, Cole needs to gain 1 second on Dark in order to jump him after that penalty is enforced. Will he be able to do it? Will he be able to defend from Tom Taylor, who's driven quite a race now, over 20 laps on these hards, nearly 30 laps on these hards? Surprising he's not flying into the walls doing those swerves on the straights. Steph, he picks up 3 seconds of penalties, and again will be one of his most difficult races this season. He is staying down in P15. Was right at the heels of Robert in the Drivers' Championship heading into Imola last week. Had a bit of a fall and has fallen even farther around Portimao this week. Cole borrowing Tom's strategy here. We'll see if it works. Tom's going to go around the outside. Could these two stay clean? Yes, Tom does go around the outside, a bit off the track, but he does get P3. And Dark, meanwhile, is breathing a sigh of relief as he sees that gap just grow and grow up to 5 seconds. Darsan, he gets the move on Sky going into turn 1. Those two have been very close for quite a while. 3 laps left to go. Sky flying into the back of Darsan, and oh no, it's sector 2 yellow flag. It looks like that may be a back marker, and it is. It is Gooders, who will have to wait patiently until it is all clear to re-enter the track. Sky still fighting with Darsan. I think this one may come down to the final lap. Ooh, nice job, mate. He's making a run at Cole now, only a couple of tenths back. He's sort of taking advantage of the scuffle between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull. Nice job, mate. Does have penalties, though, so that will affect his participation in this battle. And look at this, those frickin' swerves these guys do. Cole going down the inside into turn 1 and just nearly misses the back tire, and oh no! That's Dark, who spins with 2 laps left to go in sector 1. He will be able to rejoin in P7, so not all is lost, including his front wing, but heartbreak for Dark, who had kept it so straight, so clean the entirety of the race, was looking for a Alpine 1-2, and now what's this? How did Robert lose all that time? Was that an incident between the 2 Alpine teammates, which has now left Robert open for attack from the Aston Martin and Red Bull, who both likewise have no penalties? All of a sudden, Robert is going to have to battle for this win in these final laps. He will have to withstand just one DRS straight. That will be all he has to make it through. Again, Tom Taylor on 30 lap old hards. It's incredible that he is keeping up with these lads on the 17 old mediums. But will he have enough to make a go at Robert on this straight? Robert had a much better sector 3 and has put about a half second between him and the Red Bull. He should be safe going into turn 1. Can Cole get up to striking range of the Red Bull? No, he cannot. Positions will hold around Portimao. We go for one last time. Oh, and that's Mirko and Dark are battling. There's some contact there. Gotta watch two things at once as Tom Taylor only 2/10 back from Robert going into this hairpin. Robert's gonna choose the inside to defend, and can he do it? They're going side by side into the apex, and Robert will be able to outgrip him. Tom going just a bit off the track. No penalties served still, but Robert does maintain the lead. And the battle is not yet over. You would imagine that Robert is going to be able to pull away from these hard tires on his mediums, but perhaps the wear is about equal. A great defense from Robert will help him earn this win, assuming there are no last second moves to be made around this Sector 3, which there very rarely are. Robert DS, quite a great drive, made it exciting at the end. I said at the beginning that this was a potential statement race for the man. Well, statement made. He is P1 in Portimao. He is P1 in the Drivers' Championship, and by a good margin indeed. His closest rivals, Connor Kidd, finishing in P6, Steph all the way back in P15, and this may be the race that wins the championship for Robert. Dark does finish P5, so he managed to recover that well. I think only having 3 seconds of penalties did get him above both of the Alfa Romeo drivers. Gonna tune into the general chat to see what the hubbub is. And I don't think I'm gonna do interviews. That's Sick Boy thing. I don't really like doing that. Good race, everyone. That was an exciting one. Well won to Robert. And let's see who's on the podium. I think it's just straight up Tom Taylor and Cole rounding out P2 and P3, as neither of them had penalties. We will see if any reports come in that change that. But for now, it will be a statement race from the Irishman in the Alpine suit, taking like a 15-20 point lead or something on the Drivers' Championship. Massive from him. The redemption arc is nearly complete for Robert from Season 1. Only 2 more races left to go. And all signs point to him taking it home. Cole was epic with back-to-back podiums, finishing P2 in Imola, P3 in Portimao. Great race from him. Tom Taylor just nailing the strategy with that early stop to hards. Incredible stuff. He started P14, moved all the way up to P2. Quite a strong candidate for driver of the day. That will do it for Virtual Formula League Season 2, race 8 or 7. Whatever you can see in the title. I'm not doing interviews because I don't feel like it. Have a good one. See you same place, same time next week in Spa-Francorchamps. Adios.